Number 3.
Myth number 3. A solid workout equals 1 hour. This one, I'll start this one because teaching aerobics classes, I've had this happen on more than one occasion. It drives me nuts. So I was teaching one aerobics class, and this happened one time that I can really remember, but I've had it mentioned a couple times. And it ended in, I think it was like just over 45 minutes. And like the workout was done. The program I wrote up for that day was done. We were ready to go. And one of the ladies looks at me, she's like, "That's it? That's all? We still got 15 minutes left." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's all. That's the only workout I had written up. You guys completed it. Like, we blew through it. You didn't need as long as rest." "Oh, well, we need to do something else." Like, no, you don't. Okay? You do not have to work out for 1 hour for a workout to be effective. Okay?
Yeah, like there's some unwritten rule or something
Yeah.
that
like
workouts have to be 60 minutes.
If that was the case, like, I could kill somebody in 7 minutes. Like, I could absolutely murder them and they wouldn't be able to freaking get up off the floor. Like, that time has nothing to do with an effective workout.
It's actually, studies are showing too that, essentially after a warm-up or whenever you're getting ready, 45 minutes is actually optimal. So after 45 minutes, your androgens start to kind of decline, like all your hormone functions and stuff. So like for optimal gains in strength and everything else is like 45 minutes is like the perfect window for a workout. So there you go. So there's no magic rule about that your workouts have to be 60 minutes. Just like it's the same rule book as you gotta do chest on Monday.
Yeah, oh God.
But,
I will never, I purposely don't do chest on Monday.
So it's like I don't know, it's like this unwritten bro science rules or something like that.
And don't take that as, oh, well, fucking Chris and Will said that we don't have to work out for an hour. So they said, like, a workout's a workout. And that doesn't mean you go in and walk on a treadmill for 10 minutes and think you did yourself some good.
Yeah.
All
It's all based on
just
on
be
the training
smart.
session.
All right. I don't think we need to spend more time on that one. All right, next up, squatting is bad for your knees. Well, that one's horseshit. All right.
I'll start on this one. Squatting improperly is bad for your knees. So squatting is one of the most fundamental human movements that we possess as a species. And I've seen it's probably the number one most butchered exercise as well. With today's society, all the sitting we do and all the lack of movement that we do, we lose our ability to move properly and move well. And then people try to go into the gym, they lose the ability to squat properly, and then they try to load it, and then they start to hurt themselves. That's why people have bad knees. It's actually the sedentary people in corporate America actually have more musculoskeletal injuries than professional athletes and construction workers combined, and they don't do shit.
Yeah.
So squatting's not bad for your knees. Actually, if you're squatting properly with good form and doing things like lunges and stuff, you actually build bulletproof knees. It's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah, so if you're somebody like that, and you don't want to squat because your knees hurt, you have underlying issues, and it could be something as simple as getting your glutes to fire so that, they're actually the prime mover in doing your squat.
Just loading your posterior chain, period, is probably the number one issue with people in squatting.
And that's directly correlated with sitting, because we sit and we literally sit our ass to sleep. So
people have no hip movement whatsoever anymore. Like 99% of the time when I get a new person, I tell them to squat, they just immediately break at the knees and just drive straight down. There's zero hip movement whatsoever.
Or they compensate. When they bend, they're pretty much in a tabletop position by the time they reach the bottom position.
And just a good rule of thumb, guys, when you're squatting or doing anything, the further your knees go the further your knees travel forward, the more stress on the knee that will be placed. especially once the heel starts to come off the ground. If you can keep your heel on the ground, you have the ankle mobility to have your knees track forward. As long as you can stay on your heel and drive through a whole part of your foot, then you're pretty safe. But as soon as more of the weight starts to come out of the front of your foot and that knee starts to track very far forward, which a lot of people do when they squat because they just break at the knees, that's when you're going to start to put a lot of forward shearing stress on your knees, and that's where knee problems come from.
Yep. All right. Moving on. Myth number 5. You can outwork a bad diet. Oh, I love that one. All right. And let me just go right into this one, okay? You working out that day does not give you the right to go eat a donut. All right? Because I guarantee your workout probably didn't burn enough calories to quantify that donut. So unless you're a professional athlete, and by professional I mean you're a Major League Soccer player or football player or you're a CrossFit Games athlete and legitimately the only thing you do is train all day, okay, you're not going to outwork a bad diet by going to the gym for 1, even 2 hours a day. You can work out 2 hours a day. You're still not going to outwork a bad diet if you're eating fast food, sugar-loaded drinks, pastries, any of that stuff. Like, you're just not going to do it. You see, like, I've seen, I know some CrossFit people that, and I'm throwing CrossFit in there because it is a very high intense workout. Some of them eat a lot of shit, like a lot of bad food, but they actually do need the calories. They train all day, 5, 6, 7 times a day. So like their body is burning that up. You hear the stories of Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps would eat like 2 pizzas and spaghetti and all that stuff. He was in the pool all day long.
Yeah.
Like, he's frying calories, okay? Your average Joe, that's not you, all right? So you're not going to outwork a bad diet no matter what you're doing. So,
that's good. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
All right, myth number 6. Low carb is best for losing weight.
Yeah, this is a myth that I was subject to for when I first started out.
I can second that.
I think just about everybody at some point's been victim of the low no carb diet for sure. Honestly though, it's not necessarily low carb. I think what's more important is the source of your carbs. I've recently, I get a majority of my carbs now through vegetables. I eat maybe 1 to 2 servings of fruit, and that probably makes up like 80 to 85% of my carbs. And yeah, vegetables don't have that many carbs in them, so I eat a lot of freaking vegetables. But I still get probably in a day's work, I probably still get 200 to 300 grams of carbs, and I just keep getting leaner, and I'm eating just as many carbs as I ever have. It's just the quality of the carbs and where they're coming from.
Yeah, non-processed. So basically, you want to eat earth-grown. I'll throw it out there: earth-grown nutrients or earth-grown foods. Like sweet potatoes, your vegetables, even regular potatoes are fine. Within reason.
Yeah, I'm in moderation with those. I don't eat white potatoes as much. I usually cycle if I'm doing potatoes, I usually cycle them. I'll do sweet potatoes for a week, then I'll do yams for a week, and then maybe back to sweet potatoes for a week, and then maybe I'll cycle in a week of like a white russet potato or something.
And you might disagree on this one, but you'll see a lot of things when it comes to carbs with when you eat your carbs for a time period, like timing when you should eat them. And a lot of times you'll see it around your workouts. You should have your carbs before and then after. Or you should have your carbs first thing in the morning, spike your insulin. You need them after your workout, spike your insulin, restore glycogen. Personally, what I found works best for me, and I've always adhered to the post-workout rule. That's always seemed to work well for me. And other than that, I really don't think, as long as your carbs are quality, I don't think it matters when you eat them, to be honest.
I don't think it matters from an aesthetic standpoint. Like if you're looking I shouldn't actually even say that. I don't know. It's hard to say. So like this is something I've been experimenting with. For the last 5 years I've lived on, eat all your carbs before 6 p.m. So that way you go to bed on a 0-carb stomach and you burn fat while you sleep and all this stuff, which that in and of itself is another myth that could have been on this list. But I've been eating. The only carbs I would eat before 6 p.m. come in the form of my vegetables, unless it's my post-workout shake. And then all my other carbs would come after 6 p.m. because I don't want to spike my insulin other than post-workout. I mean, you want your insulin spike there for glycogen restoration purposes. But I don't eat the carbs before 6 p.m. to keep the insulin down so my cortisol can stay up and steadily decline through the night. And that's when I start to eat the carbs after 6 p.m. So that way my cortisol comes down, and carbs, it's been shown that carbs can help promote deep REM sleep. And I gotta say, I've been sleeping like a fucking baby lately.
See, and like I was with you. I've been doing the no carb thing for a while early in the day because I wake up at 4 a.m. So I hated my afternoon crashes, and I contributed that to eating carbs early in the day, and then I would have that insulin spike, and then I'd come down, and that's when I had that crash. So I went almost well over a year where I would not do carbs in the morning, and I wouldn't have my first carb till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And for a while there, I thought it was working, and I reached this point where it stopped working, and I would still get those crashes, and I wasn't doing the carbs, so I was like, what the hell? So recently, and it's very recent, I started incorporating carbs back in the early part of my day and cutting them out at night, going back to my old ways, and so far I feel pretty good on it. So again, man, it's experimentation. What works for me doesn't work for Chris. What works for Chris doesn't work for me. And it's going to be the same for everybody. You have to experiment with this stuff.
It also makes me think too, like possibly it's just like training. Like maybe, because I did the low no for the no carbs after 6 for so long, that switching it up just made my body is just a new stimulus. Just like training, man. Like the first time I ever cycled in, heavy weights or accommodating resistance in my training programs, like the results you see in the beginning are freaking phenomenal because your body's never seen anything like that before. So, it just goes, maybe, your diet's like that too. I mean, you got to cycle stuff through your diet as well and just experiment and see what works.
Yeah.
It's all trial and error, guys. People look for some universal secret. There's one special exercise that's going to give them everything they want, or there's one, supplement or diet program that all these people that are in shape that, we all know about. Like it's this big secret that we're keeping to ourselves or something, but it's not, man. It's experimenting. You gotta educate yourself the best you can. Use the resources around you. Use books, use the internet, use your time in the gym to experiment with things, to see what works and what doesn't, man. And it's just consistency over time. And that's the secret.
If you're lost, that's when you can reach out to us and for guidance, shameless plug. Yeah, we're trainers. We do this for a living. We get paid to do this. And for a fee, we will help you. But one thing we will not do is tell you what to do and eat. We will make your lifestyle fit the goals that you want. Telling you what to eat, when to eat it, you'll never stick to that, and it's just failure every time. All right, so if you have a trainer now that's telling you to do that shit, eat this at this time, this, that, you know what, they're not doing you any favors, and you're just going to fail at that anyway. So more than likely, you probably don't have a very good trainer. So unless you have some kind of medical thing that tells you have to have this kind of stuff, which to my knowledge, I don't really think there's any such thing, freaking look for guidance if you need it. That's what we're here for.
I don't remember what the fuck that myth was.
Yeah, man, we got off on that one. That was low carb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, long story short, no. Okay. But